Let us discuss the assignment answers, children. Hope all of you were able to do it. It was a very simple assignment given to you. Now the first main was just fill in the blanks. The average weather taken over a long time is called climate. The maximum temperature of the day occurs generally during the afternoon. Then answer the following. The elements that determine the weather of a place are temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc. And humidity is the amount of water vapor present in the air. Now let's begin this session. Now in this session we will talk about climate and the various animals which have adapted themselves to live in the polar regions and the tropical regions. Now first of all, let us understand how to define climate. Now when we say climate, climate is the long-term pattern of weather in a particular area. Now this next one, we all know that different parts of the world have different climates. It's not the same everywhere. Okay. Then the three main climate zones of the earth are the tropical zone, the temperate zone and the polar zone. Now, all of us know that the earth is basically divided into two hemispheres, the northern and the southern hemisphere. And this is done with the help of the equator, which is an imaginary line that passes through the center of the earth at 0 degree. Now, let us talk about the polar zones. Now, the polar zones, where are they located? The polar zones are areas in the Arctic and the Antarctic circle. Now, please have a look at the picture. You can see the Arctic and the Antarctic circle. So, the polar zone is within that. Okay. These regions have very cool, short summers and very long, bitterly cold winters, meaning the region is very or extremely cold. Now next we will come to the temperate zone. Now in the temperate zone, now look at the northern hemisphere, which is above the equator. Now between the northern hemisphere, so in the northern hemisphere, between the Arctic Circle and the Tropic of Cancer, and come down to the southern hemisphere, between the Antarctic Circle and Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, these regions come under the temperate zone. Now here in the temperate zone, the climate it changes such a way that in some places it may be cold, snowy winters, and we also have moderate weather over here. Now the next region comes, or the next zone is the tropical zone, just above the equator and below the equator. So this region is very close to the equator. Now in this region they have hot and humid climate, and in some places they also experience dry climate. Now I've told you that there are different zones and the climates keep varying in different places. Now why do you think this happens? What is the major why does this happen? Why there is a change of climate in different places? Now the first reason which I can give you is the angle at which the sun strikes the earth's surface plays a very major role in the change of climate. Now if you look at the regions near the equator, the rays of the sun directly fall over these regions, since they fall directly over these regions get lot of solar heat. Now as the rays of sun, or if you take the temperate zone or the polar zone, then these regions, they get very less solar heat because the rays of the earth strike at an angle. Since they strike at an angle at these surfaces, they get very less heat. So this is one important reason why there are different climates on the earth. Other reasons could be, one more could be like the elevation meaning at the height at which the place is. It could be at sea level or it could be higher than sea level. One more condition, where the regions near the coastal areas. Now, so in such places, naturally there will be a change in climate. So there are many reasons, but we will only talk about few which causes a change in the climate in the various places on the earth. So climate has a profound effect on living organisms, meaning depending upon the type of climate, the animals, they possess certain special features, and what they try to do is they try to protect themselves against extreme cold or heat. Now, the polar regions in the world, the regions which come under the polar region are Canada, Greenland, Norway, Iceland, Sweden, Finland, Alaska, Siberia. These are all the regions which are marked in pink color over there. And the regions in the green color on this map shows you the regions which have tropical weather and tropical rainforests, India, Malaysia, Brazil, Kenya, etc. Now let me talk to you about the polar regions. The polar regions are the regions which lie inside the Antarctic and the Arctic Circle, right? So in these regions, the regions are very, very cold for most parts of the year, and they are covered with snow. The temperatures are very, very low. It may come below -37 degrees or it could go below that. And in some parts of the polar region, the 6 months of the sun does not rise at all for 6 months, and for another 6 months the sun does not set at all. So you were understanding? So they have only daylight during 6 months, and the next 6 months they'll have only night. Now look at this animal. Yes, all of you are all familiar with this animal, right? Now this is the polar bear. Now this polar bear has so beautifully adapted itself to live in this very cold climate. Yes or no? So how has it adapted itself to live in the surrounding? First of all, when you look at it, it looks so beautiful. Look at that white color and the white fur that it has. So this white color or the white fur camouflages very well with its surrounding, right? So the whole place is covered with snow. Since the whole place is covered with snow and the fur is white in color, you cannot make out whether the polar bear is there, right? So it is very easy for this animal to catch its prey because of its color, right? The second point, it has 2 layers of fur to protect them from extreme cold. So these 2 layers of fur will protect it from the extreme cold. The third point, it has a layer of fat under the skin, again which helps it to insulate itself and protects itself from the cold. The next point, the polar bear has very wide and large paws that which will help it to walk on the snow. and also swim in the water. Next, they have a very strong sense of smell which helps them to catch their prey. So this is how the polar bear is adjusted to live in the polar region. Another well-known animal living in the polar regions is the penguin, which all of you are very familiar with, right? Now, the penguins are again white in color, yes, which help them to merge well in the snowy background. Then, second point, they have thick skin and a lot of fat which protects them from cold. The third point, penguins huddle together to keep themselves warm. Huddle together means they all stand very close to each other and try to protect themselves when there are very cold winds blowing. Okay. Then the next, their bodies are streamlined and their feet have webs which help them to swim very easily. Now let me tell you about some animals living in the polar region. Some of the animals found in the polar regions are the Arctic fox, the musk oxen, the reindeer, the seals, different whales, the Siberian crane, and many types of fishes. Now, the musk oxen is an Arctic hoofed mammal which is known for its thick coat, and it looks like that mountain goat which you have studied already, and it has a strong odor which it emits by which is emitted by the males. The next one is the Arctic fox. The Arctic fox, which is known as the white fox, lives in the regions of the Arctic, and it is well known for its fur and camouflage. Can you see how white the fur looks? So it's almost white as snow. The next one is the reindeer, which is a part of the deer family, and these feed, travel, and rest in groups, and these animals are again herbivores. Now the seals that you can see over there, they are semi-aquatic animals, and their foot, you can see the foot over there, which looks like the fin, which helps it to swim in water. And there are a variety of seals found in this region, and usually these animals feed on fish, which is available in the ice cold water. Now let's talk to you about migration. Now, what do we mean by the word migration in animals? Now, the seasonal movement of the complete population of animal from one area to another is termed as migration. And this usually happens in animals which live in very, very cold regions. So to escape that cold weather, they travel from there and come to a place where it is warmer, and after some time they get back to their original place. So this is a very strange phenomenon which is exhibited by some animals. They know exactly from where they have to fly, how they have to fly and reach that place to breed, and how they have to get back to their original place. Now here we'll talk about two birds. One is the Siberian crane. This Siberian crane lives in the very cold regions of Russia. Okay, and among the cranes, this makes a very long migration. So during the winter season, what it does is it comes down to India. It migrates to India. It comes here during and then it enjoys the summer weather over here and gets back. So to escape the cold. The other bird over here is the Arctic tern. This Arctic tern is actually a very small, slender gray white bird. Okay, and it is also known for its long yearly migration because this bird flies a very, very long distance. It comes from the Arctic to the Antarctic region. So when it is extremely cold in the Arctic region, the Antarctica region experiences mild summer. So what happens? This bird flies from the Arctic region to the Antarctic region. It enjoys the summer here and it gets back. So this is a phenomenon which is shown by few animals. Now, I have already discussed with you about the place where you find these tropical rainforests and how the tropical regions, they have a very hot climate because of its location around the equator. First point. The second point, the days and nights are of almost equal length near the equator, and in these regions they will have plenty of rainfall. Okay, and the tropical regions in India are the Western Ghats, which you find in Karnataka and in Assam. And in the world, the tropical regions are Southeast Asia, Central America, and this Central Africa. Where Central America, near you have the Amazon forest, very well known for its rainforests. Then the common animals which are found in this region are monkeys, apes, gorillas, lions. So they have a wide variety of animals living in these rainforests. Now, children, look at this picture. This is a red-eyed frog. The red-eyed frog, which is usually found in the rainforests of Central America. Okay, you carefully look at its picture. It has such vibrant colors all over it. It has red eyes. Then look at its body, which is green in color. And on the sides, you can see blue and yellow. And it has webbed feet and toes which are orange in color, and they have sticky pads on their toes to climb onto trees. Now just look at the picture of this bird. As soon as you look at the picture, you can make out it has a very large beak. Okay, now this bird lives in the regions of southern Mexico and through Central America. Okay, and this bird lives in the rainforest. And since it lives in the rainforest, it has to reach uh, big trees to get fruits because it is mainly frugivorous. Frugivorous meaning it eats a lot of fruits. So with the help of this large beak, it can reach the fruits and eat the fruits. So this is another adaptation of the bird to live in these huge big forests. Now let me talk to you about the lion-tailed macaw. It's also called the beard ape. The lion-tailed macaw mostly lives on trees, and its outstanding characteristics. Now when you look at the picture, you can see there it has a silver white mane which surrounds the head from cheeks down to its chin. Can you see that? So the monkey is also called the beard ape, and this animal lives in the Western Ghats in Karnataka, and it is adapted to live in the tropical rainforest. And this beard ape feeds mainly on fruits. It also eats seeds, young leaves, stems, flowers, and buds. And since it is able to get sufficient food on the trees, it rarely comes down to the ground. Many tropical animals have sensitive hearing. They have sharp eyesight. They have thick skin and a skin color which helps them to camouflage by blending with the surroundings. For example, if you see the cheetah, if you see the tiger, and if you see them among the grass, you cannot make out whether the animal is there or not, right? So some of the animals are made in such a way that they can survive in such places. So the leopard and the cheetah, these animals, they have very flexible bodies which are designed in such a way that they can run, jump, and also climb to catch their prey. Okay. And one more point is they have very sharp teeth which are like scissors to tear the flesh, and they usually hunt in the night because they have a larger field of vision during the night. Now let us talk about the elephant. Now, you know the elephant is the largest mammal, right, living on the earth. So the elephant has, as soon as you look at it, one very important feature that you can see is its long trunk. Okay, the long trunk which it uses as a nose for picking up food. It has a strong sense of smell. The tusks are modified teeth which helps it to tear barks of trees to eat. Then it has huge ears. You've seen the ears, which are large, which help it to hear even very, very soft sounds. And it also helps the elephant to keep cool in the hot and humid climate of the rainforest. Then it also uses its trunk to pull down fruits and leaves from the trees to eat. So till now, children, we have spoken about the animals and their adaptations of how these animals can survive in the polar regions and in the tropical regions. So when we are going to just summarize this lesson, the lesson only speaks about what is weather, what is climate, understand the difference between weather and climate, and then we you just have to remember the different points or the different things that we have spoken about, the animals living in the polar regions and the animals living in the tropical regions. So I hope you have understood all the points that we have discussed in this lesson. It is not at all difficult. It is very easy. You just have to uh, study, and when you are going to study, just differentiate and just study the just study about the animals living in the polar regions and animals living in the tropical regions and their adaptation, which will be easy for you to study. Now let us just summarize the points which are very important in this lesson or in this session what I have taught you. The average weather pattern taken over a long time is called the climate of a place. The polar and tropical regions have severe climatic conditions. Then the third point, animals living in the polar region are adapted to the cold climate by having special features such as white fur, strong sense of smell, a layer of fat under the skin, wide and large paws for walking and swimming. Then migration is another means to escape harsh cold conditions. And the last one, adaptations of animals living in tropical rainforests include living on trees, long and large beaks, bright colors, diet of fruits, sensitive hearing, camouflage, etc. Now try to answer these questions, children. The first question, define climate. Write any two adaptations of the polar bear to survive in the polar region. How do elephants living in tropical forest adapt itself? Then match the following: wide and large paws, red-eyed frog, long and large beak, beard ape, sticky pads, toucan, silver white mane, polar bear. Thank you, children.